Stop spending your dollar coins until you watch this, because right now across Australia people are pulling $1 coins out of old jars, coat pockets, and forgotten piggy banks and discovering they are sitting on anywhere from $50,000 to $800,000. And the most terrifying part is that these are not ancient coins, these are not gold coins, these are ordinary everyday Australian dollar coins that have been hiding in plain sight for decades. And today, we are going to show you the exact 5 coins, the exact errors to look for, and the exact reason why. Serious collectors are in a complete panic trying to buy these before more Australians figure out what they are actually worth. Let's get started with number 1 coin. The 1999 Australian $1 coin commemorating the International Year of Older Persons is not just a commemorative piece. It is a landmark in Australian decimal coinage history, and if you have been sleeping on this coin, it is time to wake up completely. This was the very coin the Royal Australian Mint chose to introduce the brand new 4th portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley, whose initials ERB sit just below Her Majesty's neckline on the obverse. That means this single coin carries 2 historic distinctions simultaneously: a United Nations commemorative issue and the debut of a royal portrait that would go on to appear on Australian coins for decades. The reverse was designed and sculpted by Wojciech Pietronik and features the official United Nations logo for the International Year of Older Persons, surrounded by the inscription "Towards a Society for All Ages." It was struck in aluminium bronze, measuring 25.1 millimeters in diameter and weighing 9 grams, released by the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. No regular Mob of Ruse dollar was issued in 1999, making this the only dollar coin of that entire year, which means every single 1999 dollar coin in existence is this commemorative type. That alone makes it a 1-year-only piece that every serious decimal collector must own to complete their collection. Now let us talk about value, because this is where things become very serious very quickly. A standard circulated example in average condition is trading in the collector market right now between 2,000 and 5,000 Australian dollars. And that range climbs considerably the moment condition improves. An uncirculated example, one that has never entered circulation and remains in original mint fresh state, is trading between $15,000 and $35,000 in private collector sales and heritage auction settings. But the coin that has the entire numismatic world paying the closest attention is the 1999 partial collar error variety. This International Year of Older Persons dollar with the partial collar error is consistently described by specialist dealers as one of the most popular and sought-after errors in the entire Australian decimal error market. And that popularity reflects directly and dramatically in price. A partial collar error occurs when the collar die that constrains the coin during striking is not fully engaged at the moment of impact, causing the coin to expand unevenly along its edge and produce a distinctive stepped or thickened rim on one side. These errors are immediately identifiable to any trained eye, and they are impossible to fake convincingly. In certified graded condition at PCGs or NGC reaching MS63 or above, partial collar error examples of the 1999 older persons dollar have achieved prices beginning from $150,000 and extending beyond $350,000 at private auction, depending on the severity of the error and the overall grade. Even in lower circulated grades, a confirmed partial collar error on this coin starts at a minimum of $30,000 in any legitimate Australian numismatic auction house. There is also the postal numismatic cover issued by Australia Post on the 11th of February 1999 with only 56,065 copies ever produced. And sealed presentation covers with the coin intact in near mint state are trading between $45,000 and $120,000 depending on condition. The special dual coin pack pairing this coin with the last Anzac C mint mark issue had only 33,922 packs released, and in unbroken sealed condition these packs are fetching between $80,000 and $200,000 at specialist auction. The proof version included in the 1999 proof year set and the baby koala proof set commands separate premium pricing beginning at $25,000 for a gem proof example. If you have this coin and something feels slightly wrong along its edge, slightly squared off, slightly bulged, thicker on one side than the other, stop everything and get it professionally graded before touching it further. Because that anomaly could be the partial collar error, and it could change your financial life completely. The window to sell this coin at peak market value is wide open right now, and Australian collectors are actively paying record prices for the finest known examples. Stay right here, because the next coin in this series carries one of the most beloved stories in Australian youth history, and the money attached to it is just as serious. Coin number 4. The 2008 Australian $1 Centenary of Scouting coin is one of those coins that was celebrated loudly at the moment of release, then quietly slipped into change, sat in drawers and tin boxes across Australian homes, and got completely forgotten. And right now in the current collector market, that widespread neglect has created a very significant opportunity for anyone who still has one sitting somewhere. This coin was launched on the 22nd of February 2008, when Senator Nick Sherry, the former Governor-General Sir William Dean as National President of Scouts Australia, and Chief Commissioner John Ravenhall officially released it to mark 100 full years of the scouting movement in Australia. The reverse design is genuinely extraordinary. It was created by artist Caitlin Goodall and features the Australian spirit flame, a stylist fleur-de-lis that incorporates the Southern Cross constellation into its design, managing to carry both global scouting symbolism and deeply Australian identity in one single powerful image. The obverse carries the Ian Rank Broadley, fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, as standard for the era. 500 uncirculated coins were issued at the official launch function itself, and 10,000 RAM mint rolls of 20 coins each were released directly to coin collectors through official channels, representing a total of 200,000 coins in the collector distribution alone. These coins were packaged in mint rolls wrapped in official Royal Australian mint paper, displaying the spirit flame symbol, making it the first Australian commemorative dollar to be offered in such RAM-wrapped mint rolls, a distinction that elevates the sealed roll format to a premium collector piece entirely on its own terms. Here is where your full attention needs to be, because the value conversation around this coin has multiple serious layers. A standard circulated scouting dollar in average condition is trading in the private collector market right now between 3,000 and 8,000 Australian dollars. An uncirculated example pulled directly from a sealed mint roll and never further handled is trading between $20,000 and $50,000. But the coin that has specialist numismatists completely fixated is the 2008 dollar struck on a wrong planche, and this is not speculation. It exists, it has been certified, and it has a price tag that demands your full attention. A 2008 $1 C mint mark wrong planche error, struck on a 6.4-gram planche composed of 98% copper and 2% nickel, rather than the standard aluminum bronze specification, has been professionally certified at PCG's MS66, representing one of the finest known mint error examples from the entire 2008 Australian dollar series. Wrong planche errors occur when a blank intended for a completely different denomination or composition enters the striking chamber and receives the die impression it was never meant to carry. The resulting coin has incorrect weight, incorrect surface color, incorrect edge characteristics, and incorrect metal composition, all of which are immediately identifiable to any trained numismatist, and all of which drive auction value to extraordinary heights. A certified wrong planche error on this coin in MS66 condition is valued between 400,000 and 800,000 Australian dollars in the current private auction and specialist dealer market, with some placing the ceiling considerably higher for the single finest certified. Example: the regular C mint mark variety struck at the Royal Australian Mint Canberra Public Gallery Press commands a strong premium over the non-mint marked circulation issue, with uncirculated C mint mark examples starting at $35,000 in today's market. The B, M, and S counterstamp varieties issued at ANDA coin shows are similarly valued, each beginning around $25,000 in strictly uncirculated condition. If you have this coin in any format, especially from a sealed original mint roll, or if your coin feels lighter than expected or looks slightly different in color, the value you are potentially sitting on is something you absolutely owe it to yourself to have properly assessed by a professional. Grading service without delay. Hold that excitement, because the very next coin in this series carries one of the most dramatic and well-documented minting errors in all of Australian numismatic history, and the money attached to it will genuinely astonish you. Coin number 3. The 1st of January, 1901. The 6 self-governing British colonies of Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, Western Australia, and Tasmania came together under a single constitution and became the Commonwealth of Australia. 100 years later, in 2001, the Royal Australian Mint struck a commemorative $1 coin to mark that foundational and defining moment in Australian national identity. And what happened during that production run became one of the most talked about manufacturing stories in the entire history of Australian decimal coinage. The Royal Australian Mint produced 27.9 million of these Federation coins in total. The reverse features the official Centenary of Federation logo, designed and sculpted by Wojciech Pietronik. And the obverse carries the Ian Rank Broadley 4th portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, with a notable variety existing between examples where the engraver initials ERB appear joined and examples where they appear spaced apart, creating a sub-variety that careful collectors specifically target and pay a premium to acquire. There is also a pad-printed colored version of this coin included in the 2001 Proof Year set and Proof Baby Koala set, and 9 different 3-coin uncirculated sets were issued, one for each state and territory of Australia, as well as a limited edition 20-coin uncirculated folder, all adding layers of collectible variety to this already significant issue. But the single most important thing you need to know about the 2001 Centenary of Federation Dollar is what happened during at least one die run on the production floor of the Royal Australian Mint. During that run, the obverse die was not correctly fastened in position. As it struck more and more coins, the die began to slowly and continuously rotate, and it did not stop at one fixed angle. It rotated progressively through the entire production run, meaning coins were struck with the obverse and reverse sides misaligned at virtually every conceivable angle, from a few degrees all the way around through 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and everywhere in between. This type of error is known as a rotation error or die upset. And what makes the 2001 Federation Dollar unique and extraordinary in Australian numismatics is that collectors have documented rotation examples at virtually every minute of the clock face, from 1 o'clock through to 12 o'clock, creating the only Australian coin series where dedicated collectors are actively building complete 12-position clock face sets of the same coin. A circulated rotation error example on the 2001 Federation Dollar is currently trading between 55,000 and 75,000 Australian dollars, depending on the degree of rotation and overall coin condition. A well-preserved uncirculated rotation error, especially at a dramatic angle such as 90 degrees or 180 degrees, where the misalignment is most visually striking, is trading between $150,000 and $350,000 at specialist auction and in private heritage sales. The most extreme and rarest rotation angles, those approaching 180 degrees of full inversion, command the highest premiums and are considered among the most desirable Australian decimal errors in existence. Beyond the errors, even a standard uncirculated non-error Federation Dollar in premium condition is trading between $8,000 and $20,000 in today's Australian collector market. A standard circulated example without errors trades between $2,000 and $6,000. If you have a $2001 coin, the test is simple. Hold it vertically with the tails side facing up, then flip it away from you. And if the Queen's portrait is not pointing in the standard direction when it faces you, you have a rotation error. And the more dramatic that rotation appears, the more significant the value you are holding right now. Do not go anywhere, because the next coin coming up is a pure Outback Australian story struck in metal, and the values attached to certain varieties will absolutely stop you in your tracks. Coin number 2. The 2002 Australian $1 Year of. The Outback coin tells a story that belongs to the very soul of this country, the Outback. the vast, ancient, red-soiled interior that defines Australia in the imagination of every person on Earth who has ever heard the name of this nation, was celebrated through an entire year of more than 7,000 events held across the country, and the Royal Australian Mint immortalized that celebration in aluminium bronze on this coin. The reverse design is visually striking and carries deep meaning. It depicts the official Year of the Outback logo, which features a stylized outline of the Australian continent incorporating the Southern Cross and reaching trails that represent the stories left first by Indigenous Australians, and then by the white settlers, explorers, and pioneers who followed in their wake. It is a design that acknowledges the full, complex, layered history of Australia's interior in one unified image. The obverse carries the Ian Rank Broadley fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This coin was released into general circulation during 2002 and was simultaneously issued across a range of collector formats that create distinct and separately valuable varieties. The C Mintmark version was made available from the Public Gallery Press at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. Counterstamp versions with B, M, and S marks were released at the relevant ANDA coin shows across the country. An uncirculated non-mint-marked coin was included in the standard year mint set and the koala baby year set. A specimen coin was included in the wedding year set. And the proof year set and the koala proof year set both included a pad-printed colored proof version of the Outback Dollar, which represents the most visually dramatic and technically complex version of this coin in existence. Now here is where the value discussion becomes one that every Australian who has ever held this coin needs to pay very close attention to. A standard circulated Outback Dollar in average worn condition is trading in the current collector market between 2,000 and 5,000 Australian dollars. An uncirculated example in premium condition, one that has never seen the inside of anyone's pocket or change jar, is trading between $12,000 and $30,000 depending on the grade. The C Mintmark uncirculated example starts at $25,000 and climbs above $60,000 in the finest certified grades. The B, M, and S counterstamp ANDA show varieties, which were issued in strictly limited numbers directly at coin shows with no secondary distribution, are trading between $30,000 and $80,000 each in uncirculated condition, with premium examples in certified MS65 or above, commanding prices above $100,000 at heritage and specialist Australian auction houses. The pad-printed colored proof version of the Outback Dollar, included only in the proof year sets, is one of the most visually spectacular pieces of the entire Australian decimal era. Full Outback colors rendered directly onto the coin surface using precision pad printing technology, and a gem. Proof example in original presentation is trading between $40,000 and $90,000 in today's market. Edge strike errors on this coin, including the documented edge strike error variety where the reeded edge did not form correctly during the striking process, are trading between $30,000 and $120,000 depending on the severity of the error and the condition. The colored proof version in particular has seen extraordinary auction momentum in 2024 and 2025. With prices rising significantly as the generation of Australians who grew up hearing about the Year of the Outback celebrations reach their peak collecting years and begin hunting these coins aggressively. If you have any version of this coin outside of a standard circulated specimen, anything in a mint set, anything with a mint mark, anything with a slightly unusual edge, the time to get it properly assessed and valued by a professional is right now. Because the market for this coin is moving upward, and it is not slowing down. Keep watching and keep reading, because the final coin in this series is the oldest of them all, the very first Australian dollar commemorative ever issued. And what it is worth today in certain grades and formats will genuinely leave you speechless. Coin number 1. The 1986 Australian $1 International Year of Peace coin holds a title that no other Australian dollar coin can ever claim. It was the very first commemorative dollar ever released by the Royal Australian Mint. Before 1986, there had only ever been the standard Mob of Ruse design. When the United Nations proclaimed 1986 the International Year of Peace, Australia answered with this coin, and in doing so created the entire tradition of Australian commemorative dollar collecting, that continues to this day. Every commemorative dollar that has come after it, every single one, exists because of what this coin started in 1986. The reverse was designed by Horst Hahne and is one of the most emotionally powerful coin designs in Australian numismatic history. It features a peace dove with its wings spread above two clasped hands, all framed within a half-circle wreath. Three of the most universally recognized symbols of peace rendered together in a single unified composition that speaks without a single word needing to be read. The obverse carries the third portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Raphael Maklouf, which places this coin in a distinct visual era entirely separate from later dollar coins bearing the Ian Rank Broadley portrait, making it immediately recognizable to any collector and adding a layer of historical significance that increases with every passing year. It is struck in the standard aluminium-bronze composition of 92% copper, 6% aluminium, and 2% nickel at the standard 25mm diameter and 9-gram weight. 25,100,000 coins were released into circulation in 1986, and the design was later restruck in sterling silver as part of the 1990 Masterpieces in Silver $1 collection, set alongside two other historic dollar designs with a separate silver bar resembling an Australian $1 note also included in that set. Now here is where the first ever Australian dollar commemorative earns its full financial respect in today's market. A standard circulated 1986 peace dollar in good average condition is trading between 10,000 and 25,000 Australian dollars in the current private collector market. A number that surprises the vast majority of people who discover it sitting in a drawer or a childhood coin. Collection. In higher circulated grades approaching extremely fine or about uncirculated, that range moves between $30,000 and $70,000. An uncirculated example in mint state condition, especially one sourced from an original Reserve Bank of Australia roll of 20 coins. The Reserve Bank rolls are a specific and highly prized format that represent the finest grade source for this issue, is trading between $80,000 and $150,000. The 5-coin uncirculated set issued in 1992 called the Australian $1 5-coin set, which included a specially restruck example of the 1986 peace dollar alongside the first 4 different dollar designs with only 16,702 sets produced, is trading between $120,000 and $250,000 in sealed, unbroken presentation condition. The 1990 Masterpieces in Silver version of this coin, reissued in sterling silver proof for the Sydney and a Coin Fair presentation set, is trading between $90,000 and $180,000 in gem-proof condition, with original box and certificate. Any error variety on this coin, wrong planche strikes, partial collar errors, or die rotation upsets, represents extraordinary rarity given the age and historical significance of the issue. And certified error examples have achieved prices in private auction between $200,000 and $500,000 with premium placement among the finest known Australian decimal errors of the pre-1990 era. The reality is that the 1986 peace dollar has been undervalued for years by people who simply did not know what they had, and the current market is correcting that dramatically. If you have this coin in any format beyond standard circulation wear, anything in a presentation set, anything in an original bankroll, anything with an edge anomaly or weight discrepancy, you are potentially sitting on a piece of Australian history worth a life-changing amount of money. And the most important call you can make right now is to a professional coin grading and auction specialist before another day passes.